What's up, guys? This is Todd here, and today is the first video of a new little series that I'm gonna start to do like once every other week, once a week if I have time. I'm gonna call it Watch the Lights RC Drag Racing channel. It's basically gonna be stuff like builds I'm doing, product reviews that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like setup tips, how to set up a drag car, how-tos. You know, the RC drag racing right now is kind of a huge part of RC. There's not a lot of information on it right now. So I want to see it grow. I want to see it continue to grow. And I feel that if I did some information on the web or on Facebook or on YouTube, and I put some videos together, I could help people just getting into the sport, you know, getting into the hobby with builds and tips and setups and how to do things correctly so they don't get frustrated and actually enjoy the sport. Like today I'm gonna do TP motor. We're gonna do maintenance on a TP motor. So this maintenance that we're gonna do today is basically 8th scale, for 8th scale guys. You know, it's an 8th scale sensorless motor. This one happens to be a TP 4050 CM 2300 kV. So I'm gonna show you guys how to break one down, put it together, test it on a motor analyzer, and do basic maintenance on it so your motors will last a long time. You know, RC is not cheap, but it's cheap to maintain. A little bit of knowledge, you can maintain your stuff and have good performing parts in cars and save some money. So I've already taken a few screws out of the end can of the TP. I'm gonna take the last one out. And what really helps doing maintenance on stuff like this is getting a good cow RC mat. These pit mats come in handy, keep you organized, they're magnetic, work real well. So when you're cleaning this motor, you're gonna pull the end bell off. Has a bearing in it right here. We're gonna pull that bearing. But what's really important is when you pull this end bell out, I'm gonna grab these pliers. When you pull this rotor out, you're gonna see shims. On this one, they happen to be brass shims. You're gonna be pay a lot of attention to these shims because you want to know where these shims are going to go and where they came off from, because if you don't put it back together right, you're going to cause motor issues. So the first thing I do is I just see where my shims are. So I know I've got these two on the end of my rotor. And then there's a bearing inside that I like to get out to maintenance it too. So I take a 1/4 inch nut driver and just knock the bearing out. And so there's some more shims that were on the bearing. So these are the end of the rotor shims right here, two little ones right here. So now I've got all apart, rotor, end bearing, and then I got a bearing right here. And the easiest way I found to take it apart is, once again, I set it on my screwdriver or my pliers and just pop it out real quick. Not a big deal. So to do the maintenance, I like to use Cow RC Moo Clean. It's designed for electronics. Works really well. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just spray the motor all the way through. You can get out any dirt, debris that's on it. Set it to the side. I always like to clean my rotor. Make sure there's nothing on the rotor. Set that to the side. Clean your end bells. And then lastly but not least, your bearings. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this motor wasn't really dirty. I keep them pretty clean. So that was pretty simple, but that's the basics. You've got your motor can, winding, stator, end bells, a couple bearings, some shims, and a rotor. Keep that clean and it'll last a really long time. We'll pop it back together. Let me grab a rag here. I like to wipe everything down before I put it back in. Take your bearings, swipe them down. On your bearings, I like to take, these are ceramic bearings in this TP motor, so I like to take an oil that's designed for ceramic coated bearings. This is Z-Lime from my buddy over at RC Drag Talk, Tyler. And I just throw a little bit of Z-Lime on there, it'll soak in. Pop the bearing right back in, pops in pretty easily. I might hit it a little bit on top just to get it in the seal. Then I'll take the rotor, I'll just spin it on there. Just make sure we get it in there. So, you know, good saturation of the bearing. Then I'll just give it a little wipe. Then I'll take the other bearing for the end bell where the wires come out, and I'll lube that one up, front and back. Most of these motors will come with just a basic bearing. So it's the same thing for a basic bearing. I like to take it and just spin it around. Make sure it spins really nice, freely. Wipe it down. So to get it back in there, I'm gonna take my shims, right? Put all my shims back on. And then what I like to do is I like to pop the bearing itself on the end of the rotor. Just wipe my rotor down to make sure there's no grease on it or oil. Then I'll hold the rotor with my pliers and I'll just slide it in. It'll pull it, and then just let it pop in. Make sure it's in there nice. Put my end in the other two shims or spacers on. Boom. Take some can't think right now. You're gonna take some thread lock, is what the word I was looking for, guys. Thread lock. I don't have any on the table right now. I'm gonna put it back together though. And you'll thread lock the screws in so they don't come out with the vibration. And then the next step, once you have it all together, you're gonna check it on the motor analyzer to make sure that it's not functioning messed up, or you didn't shim it wrong, it's not making any noises. It should sound nice and smooth, and it should run close to the kV that the motor stated to run. And should pull low amps if it's running nice and smooth. Got it all together now. So I'll just go through it real quick and make sure all the screws are tight. Put the Z-line away. So this is my Sky RC motor analyzer. We're gonna turn this on right quick. It's powered by a 2S LiPo. Hook it up. Hook up the motor to it. Make sure you got it right. And then the first thing on these is you're gonna, if you look right here, I'll turn this around so you guys can see it. You're gonna go and set the poles. So this motor is a 4-pole motor. So I'm gonna set the poles for 4 poles. And then I'm gonna back out of here and I'm gonna go to kV and motor RPM. And then we're gonna turn it up and watch it spin. And there you have it. Maintenance on a motor. It sounds nice, smooth, clean. It's what it should sound like when you're done. And that's pretty much it for motor maintenance. I'm gonna get into other stuff, how to maintain a censored motor, how to tune a censored motor on a motor analyzer. We're gonna get into setting up Tekin RS Pros for Pro Mod, Pro Stock. I'm gonna get into the A-scale cars. We're gonna get into a bunch of stuff. If you guys have anything you want me to bring up or talk about, just let me know and put it in the messages. I have a Facebook page, I have a YouTube page, and I have dogs that bark a lot, but it's part of life. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and there'll be more to come. Have a good day, guys.